right, good afternoon, BitBlockBoom. How's everybody doing? All right, hey, my name is Bratcher. I'm the president of the Texas Blockchain Council. I'm going to share a little bit with you about the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill. By show of hands, how many of you have heard of this piece of legislation? About more than half slightly. So very briefly, we're going to recap the bill, chances of passing, where it is in the legislative process, and then I'm going to get off the stage. So SB 21, Senate Bill 21 is the name of the bill. It establishes a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the state of Texas. Initially, we were going to seed that reserve with donations, but as the bill made its way through the Senate, that portion was taken out. There were some people that were concerned about people donating too much Bitcoin to the reserve, and I said, trust me, I was going to have to twist some arms to get any Bitcoin donated to this reserve. So I was pretty grateful that they took that piece out, because that means I don't have to pass the hat to get people to donate Bitcoin to the reserve. So they are going to do an appropriation. So the state of Texas is going to appropriate a certain amount of money. Right now, it's looking around $20 million, which is not a huge amount. You might say that's not a very big amount, but it's more the signal, right? The Texas is the 8th largest economy in the world if it was its own country, soon to be the 7th. So it'll be the largest sovereign entity to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet by GDP, by economy, by size of sovereign entity. So we are pretty excited about that. It passed through the Senate a few weeks ago. I'm sure you guys saw that. We are waiting for the hearing in the House. When we get the hearing in the House, then we got about maybe 20 days or so for it to get to the floor of the House for a vote. And then the governor has assured me that he will sign it when it comes in front of his desk. So the chances of this bill passing are quite high. Yeah. We may or may not be the first. There's a lot of other states working on this kind of legislation. Utah got a bill passed, but I think they pulled the strategic Bitcoin reserve portion of the bill. So there is still a chance that this could be the first strategic Bitcoin reserve where there's actually an appropriation from the sovereign entity where they're going to buy the Bitcoin and put it on the balance sheet of the state. So why a strategic Bitcoin reserve? What are we hoping to accomplish here, especially if it's only $20 million? Well, it's just perhaps starting with that. We think it can grow, so we'll enhance the state's financial resilience and sovereignty over time. Provides a hedge against inflation. When Senator Schwartner, who's the author of the bill in the Senate, spoke about the bill on the floor, he actually wrote a 20-minute speech out and talked about Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. He talked about money printing in DC. And so we were pretty surprised that he had done all that research and presented it in that way. Surprised and excited. And I think the state of Texas is starting to understand it. There's still a good bit of opposition. The bill passed in the Senate 25-5. There's 31 state senators, so we had one abstention. 5 people voted against it, 4 Republicans and 1 Democrat. So it's really, not partisan, right? We just had 4 Republicans, 1 Democrat. It was really no rhyme or reason. Tends to break on age demographics. The older rural Republicans have given us the most trouble. So it's not partisan, which is kind of an interesting thing. The state of Texas already invests a lot of money in a variety of things: real estate, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. This would be a further diversification of the comptroller's resources. And the state of Texas runs a budget surplus every year. We're constitutionally required to never have a budget deficit, which is why we do have a surplus every year in the state of Texas. So what can you do? This picture right here, I wonder if anybody in this room was with us in Austin. There we go. We got a couple people. Several, actually. So some of the people in this room are in this picture. This is from the Senate hearing a few weeks ago. We will have a Senate hearing in the House, like I said, maybe a week or 2 weeks from now. And we'd love for you to come down. You can sign up to be an ambassador. You can come down with us, be in the hearing room. I will say next Wednesday, Gideon Powell, who is the CEO of Cholla Petroleum, is got another bill that's being heard that's more on Bitcoin mining, but he wants a lot of Bitcoin miners to come down, just a lot of Bitcoiners to come down to Austin with him this Wednesday. So if you're interested in going down, being in a committee hearing room, perhaps even testifying in front of this committee hearing this upcoming Wednesday, let me know. Gideon's probably going to charter some sort of bus or something to tell, if you know him, text him and say, hey, charter a plane, not a bus. But we'll go from Dallas to Austin next Wednesday for that. So with that kind of wraps up my update on the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill. I am excited and honored to bring up the next speaker here in just a moment. He's actually from the sponsoring company of Unchained Capital. So as you guys know, Unchained Capital has been, or Unchained, they've dropped the capital, didn't they? Unchained has been a great sponsor of this conference for many years, and doing great work. I think Texas would not be where it is today without Unchained and without the variety of people that have been through Unchained or are currently still at Unchained. So excited to announce our next speaker and just kind of pay some homage, if you will, to Unchained for being a longtime sponsor of this conference, a longtime supporter of Bitcoin in Texas, and just a great overall company.